Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Men Who Talk Through Movies, the podcast where a couple of guys get together and talk ridiculously during the course of a movie, probably not paying attention to the movie at all. I'm here with my buddy Jeb. We will do our informal introductions in a minute, but first, some quick instructions. This podcast can be listened to in two different ways. You can listen to it by itself, or you can watch the movie along with us. If you'd like to watch, we are watching Aladdin. It is available right now on Disney+. If it is available on another platform, go ahead and pull that up as well and pause it at the 1 second mark. For those of you pulling it up on Disney+, you will notice that there's a little intro message thing that's talking about how this movie could be offensive to some cultures or people. We'll talk about that later, but go ahead and just get all the way through that and pause it at the 0 or 1 second mark and wait for our signal. If you need to, pause this podcast and get ready for us. Jeb, are you ready?
I'm so ready, buddy.
All right. And as soon as you guys are ready, we're going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Ready?
Ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. All right.
Man, I have not seen this movie in so long. I'm so excited.
Honestly, I haven't seen it in forever either. Like, we got a big old stack of VHS movies years and years ago. I forget where we got it from. It was like one of the senior adults in the church that passed away.
Yeah.
And like we just got this giant box full of Disney VHS stuff, and this was one of the ones in the box. So, but yeah, I remember it fairly fondly.
I do too. I mean, not so much in recent years because I've kind of replaced this movie with Twisted, but...
Yes. So while we're getting through the intro scene here, me and Jeb were talking about this a lot earlier on. There's a parody musical group called Star Kid that they take a storyline and they basically rewrite it to be like this college humor type of comedic effect. And what they did with this story was so interesting. So if you know the story...
So good.
When did this movie come out? The 90s?
92.
92.
It is turning 30 this year.
All right, so I am not giving... This is one of the only times I will do this, but just so that we don't have to worry about like saying this every time that we talk about a plot point in the movie. No spoiler alerts for any movie more than 20 years old. That's ridiculous.
That's fair. That is fair.
If this movie has been out for 20 years and it's available on a public platform, I don't think there's any reason for any spoiler alerts.
I agree.
Yeah. But so the reason I say that is because what they did with Aladdin is they took the main characters and switched them. They made Jafar the main character and Aladdin the main antagonist.
Yeah.
And what was so interesting about that is it went from the usual Disney story, which is I came from nothing, but I'm somebody deep inside and my chance will come eventually, to all of a sudden he's got everything and he's still a nobody and he's fighting a corrupt system.
Yep.
Oh, I honestly think that storyline is a lot stronger than this. As strong as, like, this is a good story, but I think that Twisted is far stronger.
Oh, I agree because that is probably one of Star Kid's best musicals to date. Like the writing in it is superb, the music in it is so catchy, and the way that, because that was around the time when they were like they did Maleficent in theaters, so it was already starting with story from different perspectives. So that was already a big thing back in 2013.
Yeah, except in this case, it's actually good.
Yeah.
Sorry for... No, you know what? I'm not sorry, Maleficent fans. Get over it.
Yeah, Maleficent was not good. And whoever said it was is... Well, it's your opinion, and I can't say you're wrong, but you're wrong.
Yeah. Like, my thing that I've decided with people is nobody's going to like everybody's stuff. Like, there's going to be stuff that I like that is admittedly crap. There's stuff that you're going to like that's admittedly crap.
Yep.
I don't fault anybody for enjoying crap. My problem is when you call crap good.
Yes.
So that's kind of the issue here. So you can enjoy Maleficent all day long.
Yep.
Just don't tell me it's one of the best movies ever made.
I agree.
Yeah. Though I will say this. I do love Jafar as a villain.
I do too. He is a very good villain.
Yes. And they I was watching The Corpse Bride yesterday, and I noticed that all of their like disfigurations that the characters have represents a flaw in their character.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of looking to see how Jafar's features would show his flaws.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's kind of got like that snake-like mouth.
He does, which, towards the end of the movie when he, how snake-like he can be.
I'm a snake.
I'm a snake.
I'm a snake. I'm a little snake. No, I didn't come up with that on my own. I stole it. Yeah. Now, what's really cool about this movie, because these visuals are absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing some research for this podcast episode, I found something really interesting. This guy, Jerry Beck, he's an animation historian, and he said that this movie was the first moment, animation-wise, when everything clicked. So it's during the Disney Renaissance, which is all the best Disney. What movies were in the Disney Renaissance?
It starts with Little Mermaid and it goes all the way to I want to say Tarzan. So you got Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Mulan, Hunchback of Notre Dame. This one, and I think Tarzan, Hercules, and Tarzan are what in that era.
Man, that's a lot of good movies.
It's a lot of good movies. That's why those are my favorite movies.
Which would you say is your favorite of the Renaissance movies?
Either Lion King or Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I should have been able to guess that with Lion King.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like your film early on.
It was my film early on.
Yeah. Was there any particular reason that it struck a chord with you?
I did love lions when I was younger. And a movie about lions was kind of cool. I think now that I'm older, it's the storytelling aspect of it. But as a kid, it was just because it was a movie about lions, and I like lions.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you did have a thing for lions. That's right.
Now it's raccoons, but that's a different story.
I think we mentioned that on my podcast.
At one point. Yeah.
But to conclude the thing I was talking about earlier, Jerry Beck, animation historian, he said that this is the first movie where the animation just clicked. Like with Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, everything was like well done and whatnot.
Right.
But this was the first movie where even the background characters' motions looked good. Like there's moments in Beauty and the Beast where things look a little awkward in the background. But here, everything was exactly where it needed to be.
All this for a loaf of bread. Sorry.
It's okay. Of course, all I can think of is the twisted Aladdin.
Yeah. When he was orphaned at 33.
Orphaned at 33. Poor soul. No one knows the tortures of his soul. Since this is our first episode, we've kind of what we're doing, guys, is we're trying to figure out if we can actually handle talking about one movie for an hour and a half or so. And we won't necessarily just talk about the movie. We'll talk to whatever comes up. But part of what we do is I'll do some extra trivia stuff on the production or the creation of it, and Jeb will do some of trivia in terms of the things that you can find on IMDb and characters and actors and whatnot. So, Jeb, you got any interesting notes that apply to this point in the story, or is your stuff later on?
My stuff is later on about the Mythian, the myth, the legend, good old Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Gosh, I remember when we found out he passed away. That was super sad.
That was so sad because
it was after Taekwondo.
Yeah, I mean, that man made the genie, and the genie makes this movie. It would not have been the same without the genie.
Yeah. And apparently, from what I've heard and talked about with other people, Robin Williams, he made a contract with Disney saying, "Hey, do not use my character to sell the movie." Oops.
Yeah, big oops. Big oops.
Yeah. because I don't think Robin Williams wanted, you know, his name to be the reason people came to see it.
Yeah.
And again,
I mean, come on, dude. You're freaking Robin Williams.
Yeah. Abu just killed that guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Abu just killed that guy. Aladdin just fat shamed a woman a moment ago. I mean, like, this is what that intro thing was talking about.
Maybe this is offensive to people.
You know, maybe, yeah, we need to rethink everything, Jeb.
We really do.
We've been living wrong this whole time.
No, I'm not making that joke. I'm not making that joke.
Okay.
I'm not getting too political on our first episode. I'm going to. Steven, it's not we've been living wrong. It's just we've been living privileged.
Oh, I forget. Yeah.
Because remember, Steven, where are the problems in society? White, straight, Christian, Republican men.
Hey, don't forget, we thin.
We are thin too.
Man, we got that thin privilege too. Okay, all right, for anybody who can stomach a little bit of language and sexual humor, I'm gonna give you guys a censored version of this scene in Twisted. So Aladdin's actually, yeah, I know. Aladdin's actually a terrible thief, and he's actually like murderous and whatnot. And so at this point, like, he gets the bread, he takes a bite of it, he's like, oh, raisins.
I hate raisins.
And so he sees the little orphan kids. He's like, hey, little orphans, you want some bread? Yeah. Please, sir. And he just throws it and goes, fetch, you chumps.
Oh, my favorite character from Twisted.
Oh, Ahmed.
Because no one remembers Ahmed. He's just used for a throwaway joke.
I know. But man, he's so deep. And you can tell in this movie how deep he is indeed.
Tiger screw up.
Hey, let's save that explanation for when he's walking out.
Yep.
In Twisted, like, Ahmed is actually a very central character. He actually sticks around for a long time, and he's played by Joe Walker. Joe Walker's hilarious.
I love Joe Walker. He's all my favorite characters. Commander Up from Starship, Umbridge from a Harry Potter sequel, Voldemort in a Harry Potter musical.
Man, like I love their stuff that they did, you know, without him, but like, for everything, like, he was the Robin Williams.
He was also Batman in the Batman musical. Can't forget that.
I mean, like, he really was the star of the show for as many years as he was doing this.
Yeah.
So about that little intro screen thing that everyone who watched on Disney saw.
Yeah. What the heck?
Boy. All right, so let's... Actually, wait a second. Are we about to get to the... Is this... this next scene is the Ahmed scene, isn't it?
I do believe so, because 3, 2, 1...
Yep.
Yes!
All right, so...
Prince Ahmed!
You want to take this one, Jeb?
Yeah, as you can see, he had a tiger sicked upon him.
Yes.
And so the joke in Twisted was that, you know, he was humiliated, so he goes back home to start a war with the Magic Kingdom. But all of his royal subjects took it the wrong way and thought that he made love with the tiger. So they started calling him Tiger Screwer. So, like, towards the end of the play, whenever Ahmed comes to invade, the best line is like, give Ahmed his tiger and no one gets hurt. There's a whole musical number on it and everything.
Yeah. Oh, I hate Jasmine.
I do too. Well, not this Jasmine. Well, no. So this actually does bring us back to the title screen thing. So
yeah. For those who were watching on Disney Plus, you saw an intro screen that says that things in this movie, references and stereotypes, are offensive to some cultures or people, and they were wrong then and they're wrong now. And it's just something that they have to accept when they watch this movie. Let's let's talk about like where this is placed in the group of people this is placed around. Okay, so this is taking place in Saudi Arabia, I believe,
or somewhere somewhere in that area, the Middle East.
Yes, and of course, right here, if you have any questions about the religion of the people involved, they're Islam. Okay, okay.
This is actually the second mention of Allah in this movie.
Oh, where was the first one?
It was at the very beginning where Jafar and the little thief was at the Cave of Wonder. The little thief was like, "By Allah."
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so obviously, I think when you look at this film and you see that intro title, the idea is to send a message to any Muslim viewers that this is not supposed to be like a slight against them. Like this movie was supposed to be like offensive to their Muslim viewers and whatnot. Let's be honest right here about Islam for a minute. None of this looks like Islam.
No.
None of like Islam is far more rigid than this.
Yes.
Like if a Muslim woman was wearing
what Jasmine
is wearing, like she would, oh my gosh, like the punishments would be like so incredibly severe. Like,
yeah,
I don't think most people understand the severity of Islam and how controlling it is.
Yeah.
There's for anybody who's got questions about what Islam actually believes, there's an interesting YouTube channel that I think people should check out. It's called Act 17 Apologetics. It's a guy who I might have shared stuff with you before, but it's a guy who he started off as just doing a basic apologetics podcast, and for a while his main focus was on atheism. But then he had a friend who was a Muslim, and so he spent a lot of time studying Islam. And then eventually his entire channel just became focused on witnessing to and confronting lies of Islam. You learn a lot about the culture of Islam by listening to his podcast and how angry they get.
Right.
So all of that to say, I'm not really... Most people who come to the immediate defense of Islam, I don't think they actually know what Islam is, because none of this looks like Islam by the book.
Right.
American Islam does not look like Islam by the book. It's a very liberal form of Islam.
Yeah.
Yeah. What frustrates you about it?
About what? Islam?
That intro title.
Oh, that just now noted. I was a kid when I watched this, and I haven't seen this movie in years, so I don't know what they're referring to, but nothing in this movie is offensive though. Like, the one thing I remember, my sister did a project on this and how it could have been offensive. And like, I don't know if you've noticed, any antagonizing character has a British accent. Jafar, the guards, and maybe that was their way of saying, oh, this is obviously racism in the form of Disney and during that time. And I'm like, is it though?
I mean, that's being racist against like some of the whitest of white people in the world.
True, but yeah, but that stuck out to me. And it's just like, and like I said, I was young when I watched this. Watched it a few times in high school because it was one of my favorite movies.
Right.
But as an adult, from what I remember, I don't see how any of this can be offensive. Like, and that's, I think a buddy at Truett of mine said it best. If you're going to be offensive, like, nothing is offensive unless you make it offensive.
I'd have to think about that for a minute. Because I agree that far less than what we assume is offensive is actually offensive. I'd have to think about that thoroughly, though.
Do you believe in love at first sight? Of course. I've experienced it. Many times.
Hashtag love on Christian campuses.
You're not wrong.
I know. How many times have you walked around on like a Christian college campus and then someone's just like, I just saw them and I knew I knew the first time I saw them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that, like, people can feel God leading them towards, like, a specific person in a moment.
Right.
Like, I don't believe that God has set aside one specific person for you, but I do believe that when both people are being obedient to God, that God can lead them together.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I find it very interesting how the God card gets played on the front end and the back end.
Yep.
I just feel like God has led us to be together. I just feel like God is leading us apart.
Yeah. Now, I'm bad with discernment myself, so
Yeah.
that's why I normally go to other people to see what they think. But yeah, I understand the whole. Sorry, because in my Christian ethics class, I was the example of the one, not the one, but messing up God's will because of the one. Yep. So, one of my teacher, Mr. Epling, was all like, "All right, guys. So imagine, so and so and so and so were dating, but they broke up, and then Jeb dated so and so. Well, if so and so was other so and so's one, well, Jeb just messed up God's will because he took so and so's one. So now so and so has to find another person's one, and so on and so forth. So when he explained it like that, basically saying how I ruined God's will in that example, made me understand that the concept of the one isn't really there.
Yeah.
But because Stephen can attest, because I talked to him about all my relationship and love life problems. Not that I really have any, at least no relationship issues, to be honest. But I come to Stephen, and before I started dating my girlfriend Lindsay, I was all like, I'm just trying to find the one and this, that, and the other. And I'd always follow up. Not that I believe in that, but I just don't know what else to call it.
It's kind of like how people like tear something down, but they don't really replace it with anything.
Right.
Yeah. And Jeb and I have discussed multiple times and on multiple different platforms how frustrated we are with the way that churches handle things sometimes, because they take a really strong.
Sorry.
Oh, that is.
I love that shot of him showing the. Anyway, as you were saying.
Yeah. Now we'll take a moment to talk about that, because like that is an absolutely beautiful, like cinematically beautiful reveal. It's not just the visuals, but like the way that they plotted that moment. Every third of the screen is filled with something breathtaking.
Yeah.
Like even looking at the walls, like look at the detail on the walls right there. You can see like it looks like the weather has worn away little holes within it.
Yeah.
It's just so fascinating. I could never, like, this was still back in the day when they were doing a lot of like hand animation.
Yep.
Like computer animation was still like developing into what it is today. I mean, shoot, this was 30 years ago.
It was 30 years.
This was 30 years ago.
Come at me, 2D animation's better than CGI or 3D animation.
Oh, 100% agreed. Like, even just looking at, like, I recently just watched through The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies again. And, like, I love the story of The Hobbit, and I love Bilbo. Bilbo is my favorite character, bar none, from the entire Tolkien universe. But dadgummit, like, you can't get around those visuals in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Nope. Before you go back to what we were talking about before, I interrupted about the shot because
they're after me. They're after you. There's
go get it, guys. No, they're here.
Sorry, was that what you were doing?
No. What I was going to say is, have you heard about the new Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings show?
I've heard about it. I've read some things about it, because like they only have the rights to some of the stuff. They don't have the Silmarillion. I think they've only got like what's in the Lord of the Rings and maybe what's in the Hobbit.
Right.
Yeah, so they don't have the entire, like, anything that they do before the story of Lord of the Rings, they're having to extrapolate from whatever they have in the Lord of the Rings.
Right.
That's all I know about it.
From what I've seen, because there's only been one trailer, it looks okay.
I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Yeah. It's all your fault, Jafar.
That's another theme in Twisted. Everything is Jafar's fault.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying about before I interrupted about the beautiful shot, because we are talking through a movie. I need to comment on said movie eventually.
I mean, it's fine. I don't care.
But yeah, so you were saying how you and me both agree how we don't like how the church has handled
a lot of things, yes. And one of the big things is like with relationships. So
yes,
it's the church is terrible when it comes to talking about sex, and they're also terrible about talking about relationships. So like this idea of the one, how God's got this one set aside for you. We still have people in the church who talk about that.
Yep.
They pull scriptures to talk about it, and they have a lot of nothing.
Yep.
But what about Isaac and Rebecca? Oh yeah, you mean like God's chosen people?
Yep.
Because you are definitely God's chosen people.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that's when it comes to like issues within like our culture and understanding the Bible, almost all of them come from a misusing of the Old Testament.
Yep.
And that's so disheartening.
It is disheartening because what people fail to understand is, yes, Jesus came to fulfill the law in the Old Testament, but that does not mean he negated it.
That's right.
So everything that is said in the Old Testament is still relevant. Like, if in the Old Testament, Israel is God's chosen people, then guess what? They are still God's chosen people today.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yes, we are grafted into it, but we do not replace them.
Yeah. And that's... Should I do it?
Do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I already made a controversial statement already. Why don't leave me the only one?
Okay. All right. The issue with Calvinism comes down to the same problem with liberal theology, replacement theology. The idea that the modern church today replaces Israel. That is through and through the issue with Calvinism and every other major theological problem. You look... Because what's the number one go-to passage for Calvinism?
Romans 9, right?
Yep, Romans 9. But over and over throughout the passage, if you just follow paragraph by paragraph, write down what the main characters are and what exactly they're talking about, it doesn't have to do with personal salvation. It's all talking about the election of Israel. The only way that you can get that's talking about personal salvation, that I do like this side of Jafar as well.
I do too.
Oh my gosh, I should have said spoiler for a 30-year-old movie. I'm so sorry.
Spoilers?
I'm with Abu there. Those look so pretty. I could eat them.
They were pretty.
But like, if you look in Romans chapter 9, like, look at those specific ones, the specific examples that Paul is giving.
Rule. Sorry.
But life's a two-way street.
Well, Jafar mentioned the gold rule. Whoever has the gold makes the rules.
And of course, in Twisted, Jafar is the one following the golden rule.
Yes.
But then the other leaders in the palace introduce him to the gold rule, which Jafar says here in this movie.
Yep.
And so that gives Jafar a moral conflict. All right, you know what? I'll just go ahead and say it. I think that you guys need to stomach through the sexual jokes and the language and watch Twisted, because I think it is incredibly relevant to how Christians interact in culture today.
I agree, because as I've talked to you many times about it, so for those who don't know, I'm in my master's right now, and I'm debating if I should do my doctorate. And what my doctorate would be basically what Stephen just mentioned, how we deal with culture and more specifically the media that we consume.
Yes.
Because a lot of people tend to be like, oh, that's bad, we should push it away, which to a point, yes, don't cause your brother or sister to stumble.
I don't want you watching hardcore porn or anything.
Right, of course not. But there are some things like, for example, Harry Potter, to where I think could be very relevant for sorry, I just thought of a plot hole. Don't touch anything, right? Except for They just touched carpet.
That's true. Ooh. What if carpet was not a part of the treasure? What if carpet was a visitor just like Aladdin and Abu here?
Huh.
I
Maybe.
didn't think of that until just now.
I didn't either. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, the media we consume, because a lot of people, like I said, tend to be like, oh, if it's not of the Bible or Jesus, we should push it away and only consume Christian media. Well, I mean, that is good. I mean, not really. Some of the Christian media we get is not good, just saying.
Oh, Lord.
But
We could spend a lot of time talking about that.
yeah, we could, but we're not going to. But what I want to mention is even Paul used the media of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what passage it is, but didn't Paul like quote like a Greek book or something, or Roman book?
He did, and I don't remember which it is. And then, and then you've got Jude, who uses some of the Apocrypha.
Yep. But you see my point though.
Yeah.
We as Christians shouldn't like. Yes, if it's going to cause you to stumble, then I completely agree. Don't watch it. But like you just said, it's not like we're saying watch hardcore porn,
right?
Or porn in general. Don't watch porn at all. Not hardcore or something. Just anyway. Beside the point.
Yeah.
Watch things that are going to help you with your faith, even if it's not relatively a Christian story.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I've been doing with our youth at our church is we've been piece by piece. We've kind of like been going through different like popular movies and like finding things that are relevant to our faith. Like I pulled a clip from The Two Towers because I just find that an incredible movie.
It is such an incredible movie.
You know, if this episode's a success and we can get the right guests lined up, we would love to do the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yes,
which would be a lot of talking. Oh my gosh.
It would be a lot of talking. Heck, I was also thinking if this is a success, we should do the Zack Snyder trilogy.
Ooh.
And have the last one of that trilogy be, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Talk through that 4-hour movie.
I think we should, if we do that, we should break it up because it's 4 parts, right?
6.
It's 6 parts. Okay, I think we should split it up to where it's like a half and half then if we do that.
I agree.
That way, you know, we're not spending 4 hours just trying to come up with new things. That gives us some time to do some more research or to find some different talking points and topics.
Right. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this did not happen in Kingdom Hearts, and I touched a lot of treasure. In both Kingdom...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, in both Kingdom Hearts games, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, when we do go into the cave, I touched a lot of treasure, and this did not happen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Just saying.
I think that this whole segment right here, in terms of like the visual quality, this is the most beautiful segment to me. Like it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
What they're able to do here, like I think it takes it to a brand new level, and especially, I'll show it to you in just a moment. It's I think it's after they go through this room. This is my favorite visual transition.
Yeah.
Wait for it. Almost there. Oh, it's taking too long. I haven't seen this movie in forever. Oh, and of course the classic line.
Yep.
This is no time to panic.
Start panicking.
All right. This is where it is. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, this is my favorite scene by scene transition almost. Man, I forgot this movie. Here we go. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
I love that transition. All right, and I know that you get this too. You get, because you're the way about movies that I am. Like, you've got some parts of movies that you can enjoy them, and it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. But then there's some parts that just give you chills and leave you speak. That's that transition to me from the inside to the outside with the lightning. Oh, so good. Then of course we've got the twisted version of this. Hey, dude, you I got this lamp and whatnot. But then all the treasure, it's just lava. I'm gonna keep this.
Because you said you wanted an ordinary oil lamp. This totally is not. This is totally unordinary. So I'm keeping this.
Yeah. It's got like this magic gin inside, and it's really funny.
You know, I know we said we picked this movie because of the link, but we literally should have just talked about Twisted or watched.
Really, we should have.
Another episode.
Yeah, we can do another episode on it. Probably a little later. Do we have any other friends that are Star Kid fans? Yeah, we got no. Jenna's a girl.
Oh, you're right. You're right. This is men who talk through movies.
When we introduced this and we set out the trailer for this, Jenna got all ticked off. Not ticked off. It was fake ticked off. But she started picking on us about how there's nothing for the girls. I was like, make your own.
Yeah,
Get a bunch of girls together. We'll cross promote it.
Podcast.
Yeah.
But we got John. We got I know of other people who do enjoy Star Kid. It's just off the top of my head.
Yeah. Oh, and here we go. I love this comeback.
Yeah.
I know it's covering up for another word, but if I heard someone say two-faced son of a jackal, I swear to you, I would immediately excommunicate that person from the church.
Yep.
And now, I think he was already here because I think he did the traveling salesman. But
he did.
Introducing the true star of the show, the reason this whole movie and everything exists.
Boy!
Gotta love
prick in the neck.
Yeah. Robin Williams, the man of the freaking century. What a comedian.
What a comedian.
Yeah. You got some notes on Robin Williams?
I sure do. So first, during the course of the recording, the voices Robin Williams improvised so much that they had 16 hours of material. 16 hours of him just doing his improvisation.
Yeah.
Another thing, because Robin Williams ad-libbed so many of his lines, the script was rejected for Best Adapted Screenplay Academy Award nomination.
He literally screwed them over.
He did screw them over.
You know, though, I would say that like the success of this movie is worth way more than an Oscar.
Oh, yeah. Aw. This is sweet. I just that. So this is something new to me. When Robin Williams passed away in 2014, Disney honored him that week by airing Aladdin on their 3 children's channels, Disney Channel, Disney XD, and Disney Junior, across 3 days, twice on each channel. And at the end of the movie, just before the credits, they put up an image that read, "In memory of Robin Williams, who made us laugh."
Oh, that's so great. I love that.
Like, Disney has its issues. We're not going to say that they don't.
Right.
But when Disney does it right, they do it right.
They do. And they take care of their people.
They really do. Had them for... Sorry.
That's okay.
Sleeves.
And what's so cool about him too is like he's a true performer.
He is.
Like in terms of performers, he would be known as what we call a Renaissance man in modern filmmaking. Like he could act, he could improvise, he could write, he could sing, he could tell stand-up jokes. Like the man could do just about anything. You sign him up for a job and he fills in and knows how to do it right away.
He really does. So the reason Robin Williams got this role was whenever they were like doing, I guess, pre-production, they drew Genie like a sketch thing, you know, a first-time sketch of Genie doing one of Robin Williams' comedic performances. And that convinced Robin Williams. He was like, "Oh, I'm doing this role."
That's so great.
So I watched a video.
Yeah.
Specifically on why Robin Williams is perfect for Genie. And it kind of sums up in this moment here. Because as you know, there was a live action remake.
Yeah.
Which sadly was the best one, but that still didn't mean it was good.
Yeah.
So Williams is the character. It's not just Robin Williams being Robin Williams. And you
Right.
can see it in this scene right here. However, Will Smith, when he got the role, who did a phenomenal job, don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I haven't seen it, but I don't doubt it.
Will Smith was just Will Smith as the genie.
Yeah.
Will Smith wasn't being Genie. He was just being himself as the genie. And I think that's really the problem in a lot of movies today. Like, as much as I enjoyed it, the new Uncharted,
Mm-hmm.
which I do think Tom Holland pulled well, but I think they just got Tom Holland because of, the star name.
Yeah.
I will say, no, it was So yeah, Mark Wahlberg was just Mark Wahlberg as Sully in the game. You know, the old man from the Uncharted games?
Yes. Yes.
They got Mark Wahlberg to play that role.
Okay.
And Mark Wahlberg was just Mark Wahlberg playing that role.
I mean, that's when you've got a classic character, that's about all you can do. I mean, because if you're just a knockoff of the original, like, you can't do anything good about it. Like, I've heard positive things about Will Smith's Genie,
Mm-hmm.
but if he tried to be Robin Williams' Genie, it would not have worked.
I agree.
So, I mean, I really think this is as good as you can do. Because
Yeah.
everyone knows you're not going to be able to surpass this.
Oh, of course. I just wish people would stop, like, just giving people roles because of the Stardom name and just let,
Yeah.
like, I'm actually really excited for The Batman coming out next week.
You'll have to tell me how it is, because I'm a little torn about it. Who's playing Batman again?
Robert Pattinson.
Okay, so they did fully can Ben Affleck.
That's complicated, but I'll save these talks for when we do DC movies, but that's complicated.
Okay. Because I really liked Batfleck.
I did too. Especially with Zack Snyder's Justice League, it added more to his character.
Yeah, and it makes me happy that those movies are starting to get more attention now.
Yeah, but not enough for Warner Brothers to save them, though.
Yeah, but that's Warner Brothers for you. It's people with money fueling an agenda. Like,
yeah,
Warner Brothers made their money off of good movies, and now that they've got as much money as they want, and they've got friends who've got money, they can pretty much make anything that they would like to make, no matter the backlash.
Yep.
And that's my big problem with, like, these big groups like Disney and Warner Brothers, is they're so successful now, and they have so many successful friends. They can fail as many times as they want, and it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Because, like, the past couple of Disney movies, while maybe they weren't fails, they've not been smash hits.
I don't know. Encanto was pretty good.
I've been told I need to watch it. But, I mean, how long has it been since we've had a hit like this?
I will say Frozen, because you cannot deny how much of an impact that had.
It did have a big...
As it is, there has not been a that sense. And like I said, I think Encanto is a close second.
I think that... I'll say that's fair, because I'm like you, I don't want to give credit to Frozen, but I mean, it did make a lot of ripples.
Yep. The fact oh, sorry, continue.
It's okay. My issue with Frozen is it had to have Tangled in order to make it a success.
Yeah, and Tangled is so much a far superior movie than Frozen.
I agree. I think it should be used in marriage counseling.
Yeah. You know who we haven't talked about yet?
Who?
Iago.
Good old Gilbert Gottfried.
Good old Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay, so I learned something about Gilbert Gottfried and a controversy that he was involved in.
Oh, no.
Okay, so 9/11 had just happened, okay?
Uh-huh.
And so at this point, there had not been a lot of comedy stuff. And everybody's kind of like, still recovering from the emotional trauma of the attack of September 11th.
Right.
So Gilbert Gottfried gets on stage, knowing full well what he's stepping into, and he says, "I was almost late to today's roast, but I had a flight with a connecting flight. I was kind of worried about the connection because we were making a stop at the Empire State Building."
Oh no.
I know. And like half of the audience is laughing, half of the audience is booing, and realizing how much trouble he's going to be in, he's just like grips the podium, doesn't apologize, just kind of like grips the podium, leans back a little bit, and just lets it sit. But that's the era of comedians that we had during this time. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to have people like Robin Williams and Gilbert Gottfried and Norm Macdonald today. I mean, like, we have a few good ones, but they just don't exist to that caliber.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's for an example, Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody listening with a younger audience, it's a little bit of a PG-13 joke, because that was Robin Williams. He was a PG-13 comedian.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him do an improv bit, and when he does improv, like, he doesn't stay on the stage. Like, he walks down into the audience and starts picking on everyone that he can. And so he got to a moment where he was talking about how what he does is an art craft to him. And he points to the big improv sign on the stage. He says, "That word up there, that means something to me. That word improv means something to me. It means jerking off a whole room of people at once." I mean, you're not going to find like brave comedians like that who are just like, they have that FU attitude. I love that FU attitude.
Yeah. I mean, you see in the culture we live in today, any inappropriate joke about anyone is offensive and you're immediately going to get in trouble.
Yeah. But that's why I'm glad that we had people like Robin Williams who, like, you have to come back, watch this, and you can be like, I don't like that joke, but I can't deny it's absolutely hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
You know that feeling you get when you laugh at a joke and you're like, I know I shouldn't be laughing at this.
Yep.
I'm going to go quote this to all of my friends now.
Yep.
All right, where's a pen? I need a pen. Because I'm going to have to cut this out. I got to tell you my favorite, since we're speaking along this line, I got to tell you my favorite Norm Macdonald joke. Have I told you my favorite Norm Macdonald joke?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm going to have to cut this out. There's no way I can get around leaving this in a podcast. But he'd been working on this joke for a long time, and he just couldn't get anybody to take the bait. I find I am nowhere along his caliber, but I'm his same style of comedian. I'll set someone else up to take the bait, and then I'll make an extra joke if somebody takes the bait.
Right.
So what he would do is he would go on interviews and late night shows, and he'd be twiddling with a little cigarette. He'd pop it in his mouth, but it wouldn't be lit. So he'd just be playing around with the cigarette, and then always what would happen is somebody would ask if they could light it for him, and he'd go, "Oh no, I actually don't smoke anymore. I just kind of play around with it a little bit. My doctor tells me I have an oral fixation." And then, most people just kind of like chuckle a little bit and then they move on. I saw like Dave Letterman, he just kind of laughed and then he moved on to like the next thing he was talking about. And this would happen over and over and over. He finally got somebody to take the bait. And it was on his own show, one of the guests that he brought on. And he's like, "No, I don't smoke anymore. I just kind of like play around with it. My doctor tells me I have an oral fixation." And the guest just kind of laughs and goes, "Why did he tell you that?" "Because I was sucking his That's my favorite Norm Macdonald joke ever. I'm going to have to bleep. I'm going to bleep that because I can't. But that's the... You want another Norm joke?
Sure.
Okay. So this is my second favorite Norm joke. Friends, right?
I love Friends.
Oh, you, the Friends cold open with Robin Williams.
I think so.
Okay, so there's a cold open where Robin Williams comes in with a buddy of his, and like he does this whole scene in front of the group.
Yeah,
and it's one of the most famous bits, completely unscripted, as
sounds
is
like
normal for Robin Williams. He wasn't even supposed to be on set. he was in town. He heard that they were filming, and so he waited until they started filming, and then he just walked in and performed this whole bit with his buddy. So
That's
no
fun.
one, so all of the reactions that you see from the Friends, like that is 100% genuine. They had no idea this was going to happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the reason I bring that up is Matthew Perry, who plays Chandler.
I love Chandler.
I do too. But I mean, would you be surprised if I told you that Matthew Perry is a little egotistical?
No.
No, an actor who's successful, egotistical? So he had a big ego on him, and a lot of the big executives would just fuel that ego.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this would tick off Norm Macdonald so much. Like, some people were like, Matthew Perry, like, he invented a new form of comedy, and he'd be like, what, you mean sarcasm? But this kept going. Like, he'd keep getting frustrated that he couldn't just be a little bit more humble than what he was.
Right.
And so then he was talking with he was talking with, who was it? Harvey Weinstein.
Mm-hmm.
And Harvey Weinstein was just singing Matthew Perry's praises. And he got to this one specific line. He said, Matthew Perry is a genius. And Norm just kind of looked at him and said, what, is he good at math or something? But there's a lot, like, comedy is one of two things. It's either incredibly friendly to each other or it's incredibly cutthroat.
Yep.
So like Norm, Gilbert Gottfried, and Robin Williams would do a lot of stuff together, but then there were other comedians that they just did not get along with.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I will say about the remake that I did not like was this segment. Because you know how fast-paced the music is, right?
Yes.
It was so slow.
Really?
It was awful. Like, I listened to the soundtrack before seeing the movie, because that's what I do, is I'll listen to the music before seeing the thing.
Yeah.
And I was listening to this music, and I was like, something doesn't sound right. And it was because in the movie, the Prince Ali song was so slow.
That is so depressing.
Like, I watched it again on like 1.5 speed, and that immediately fixed everything.
Huh. So we just need a re-edit. Or we just speed it up a little bit.
Basically. At least in the live action version.
There's so many things that I want to re-edit just because like the editing was so bad.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite TV shows, Hunter x Hunter, which I've showed you a little bit of it.
You have. I haven't watched it since, but I'm running out of things to watch, and what I'm realizing myself doing is rewatch.
Like, I do the same thing.
Like, I need to find new shows, but I like rewatching old shows. And people think crazy, like, Jeb, why would you rewatch something? You've already seen it. And I'm like, because it's good.
Yeah. It's like, part of it's like a comfort thing, but part of it's also like, they don't make stuff like this anymore.
They really don't.
Like, even this movie, like, I think that Twisted's better, but like, I would love for there to be another Aladdin. I'd love for there to be a film that's like this, that inspires this many people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some good moral stories to it as well.
It really does.
Because like here we see a great deceit being played out. He's pretending to be someone completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And while on one hand he needed something to get him to this point where he could be with Jasmine, that didn't mean that he needed to live in deceit.
Correct. And
he could have trusted Jasmine.
Yeah. And what's interesting too is Jafar is also living in deceit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nice little parallel between the antagonist and protagonist.
Yeah.
Both are living in deceit, but one's, I mean, they're both kind of doing it for the wrong reasons, but the difference between the two is Aladdin realizes his mistakes after, being called out on them and
Yes.
changes, and Jafar just doesn't.
Yes. It's kind of like Aladdin is doing a good thing the wrong way for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
And he does come around, and that's and we talk a lot about redemption, because redemption, not only is it like the point of our faith as Christians, but it's also one of the most powerful story elements.
Yes.
I want that sign. I want to just wheel it around with me.
Yeah. I love this scene. This is my favorite scene of Robin Williams, because it starts off with him playing chess with carpet, and I can't believe it. I'm losing to a rug. That's and then here's the deal, Spark. If you want to get the little lady, gotta be a straight shooter. This just has so many good lines from Robin Williams.
Yes, and this movie really like showcases like everything about his abilities, because he's got that comedic side and he's got that serious side. He's got that excited voice, that calm voice, and and of course all of this is improvised, so it shows his amazing writing ability.
Yeah.
What are some of the other things that he's done? Because he was Night at the Museum. He was
oh yeah, he was Teddy.
Yes, good old Teddy Roosevelt.
Jumanji.
Yes, Jumanji.
He was the red robot from the Robots movie.
I have not seen that yet.
From what I remember, it's good, but I haven't seen it in years.
Okay.
What else has he done?
I give Jasmine a hard time, but she's really not as bad as I say she is.
No,
she's just looking for something. She's just looking for something genuine here.
Yes.
I mean, how many ladies can relate to that? Just wanting something that's real.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the whole point of this moment right here when she approaches Aladdin. She's tired of the fake princes who are self-absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
The warning.
Uh-oh. Warning.
The Office with Kevin. Warning.
Mayday. You want me to sting her?
No, Jeannie, I think that's his plan. I can't believe I just said that.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, I was too busy quoting the movie.
I know. When he said, "You want me to sting her?" I was like, I think that's his plan, Jeannie.
Ouch!
I know. This is a PG-13 podcast, people. Don't play this for your kids. This is a PG-13 podcast. We're going to talk about stuff.
All sorts of stuff.
Yes. As much as I pick on this movie, and this really is a romantic scene.
Yes.
And this musical number really is beautiful.
It is. So, growing up with two older sisters, we thrive on these kind of duets. Me and Jenny kill this song.
I could see you and Jenny singing this at the top of your lungs.
We kill it. Like, I cannot stress how much we kill this moment. But again, being the youngest brother and having two older sisters, I was always the guy on these types of duet parts.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but years ago, it was before Sunday school one day. We had my old MP3 recorder. I recorded you singing this like a drunk man.
I don't remember it, but to be fair, It sounds like something I would do.
Oh yeah, you like during that time you hardcore played like the drunk guy impressions. I
It was
remember you
called
came in, you were like,
acting.
I could show you the world,
Yeah.
shining, shimmering, splendid.
The hiccups are what get me. Like whenever I would fake drunk, anytime I'd hiccup.
Yeah, I know, because it's so abrupt. My
A
favorite
whole new world of you.
My favorite part of that recording was when you you accidentally did this too loud. You went, "Oh, new world. I feel like I am really drunk."
I
And you
remember
realized
that.
you went, "I hope no one heard what I just did."
I remember. Ugh.
You know what? That's probably what started everything that we do today.
It really is. That's one thing I pride myself in is when I do sing or make parodies or covers, I have a good meter. So I
Yeah.
can like there's an episode in my Last of Us 2 Let's Play where towards the end of the game, Steven, spoiler alert, but I don't think you're as into the second game as you were in the first.
I do intend to. We've got some money stuff we're working through right now, but I honestly would get the second game. But go ahead.
It's not too spoilers, but towards the end of the game, Ellie goes to Santa Barbara.
Okay.
So me being the psych fan that I am,
Mm-hmm.
I start singing Santa Barbara Skies.
Ah,
And my meter was really good.
Yeah. That's part of what gives like songs a good flair is like when you have that dynamic from loud to quiet and loud to quiet. Because those quiet moments just pull you in and let you listen.
Yeah. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about
What didn't we talk about?
during that musical number?
What?
The better version from Twisted.
Oh, yeah. To take off your
clothes.
Of course, my favorite part of that number is when his advances aren't working and he's like, "Hey, I know you're nervous. I mean, I am too. I've never done this before."
Yep.
All right, so this is an important moment for any single guys listening right now, or any single girls. When you have that moment to correct deceit, you need to take it.
Yep.
Because if all you're going to do is deepen the lies that you're in, you're going to have to face that moment again.
Yep.
Because Jasmine has proven herself to be trustworthy in wanting something real and genuine, even if it requires a little bit of sacrifice.
Right.
I mean, the girl freaking ran away from an endless supply of money and wealth and servanthood so that she could live something more genuine. He could have trusted her with the truth, but in that moment, he decided instead to twist the truth even more.
I agree. Moral of the story, people, don't be Aladdin.
Yeah. Don't be a hater, be a truther.
Oh, no. The horror. The horror.
Can we just talk about how impressive it is that not only were they able to tie up and net an elephant, but that they were able to suspend it with strong enough rope from a strong enough tree hanging in the air?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the resources you guys got, you got no financial struggles ever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but this scene for me, I just love this scene.
Yeah.
It's not like super funny. It's not the most suspenseful part, but I just think it's just so well done.
Yeah.
I was about to say that sand looks like a cloth. Yeah, stupid, it is a cloth.
I mean,
What?
Sorry, I was about to say what's about to come up when Genie uses this as his second wish.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yes, I'll take that as a yes. To be fair, babbling in German.
I know.
But yeah, like I get it. I mean, I don't know. That
You already
counts second wish.
Yeah, but he did already give him a freebie.
That's true.
So I mean, you can't give him 2 freebies in a row then, because I don't know what would happen if he could break the rules or if he decided to break the rules.
Yeah, because
her hair looks way better down.
It really does.
Oh, and gotta love the plot point of marrying the sniveling, gross old guy.
Yeah. Because he's probably like 20, 30 years older than her.
That might even be generous.
Yeah.
How in the hell? Is Gilbert Gottfried still alive?
That I know of.
I'm gonna research this. It would be sad day when he dies too. I mean, like,
yeah, well, he hasn't really done anything though. It's Aladdin, to be honest.
Like, he's done some minor parts, but like, but I think and I think you're right. But I mean, that is the role that he's known the most for.
Yeah.
What else has he done? He did some stuff. I think he starred in 30 Rock for a little bit.
Not
something else.
Chemistry.
We've recently started watching Breaking Bad, and the best moments are the chemistry moments. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I might start rewatching that show soon. It's so good.
It really is. Though I do have to say, as much as I enjoy the whole show, the first season really has been the best so far. I think we're coming close to the end of the 4th season. And as good as the rest of the show is, the first season is really the center point for me.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. He did something in The Annoying Orange. Had you really sunk that low, my friend?
Oof.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. He really hasn't done very much.
Yep. He's pretty much Iago. Whether it's in Kingdom Hearts and the Aladdin stuff, TV, that's all he has been.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only some minor roles here and there, like a couple of small movies that never really made it, some other kids shows. I mean, like, he was successful enough that he could live off of the success of this movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this reminds me of another joke.
Yeah.
Aladdin, it is you. Wait, how'd you know it was me? Because it is you. You're just wearing different clothes.
Yeah, seriously. What was also really funny about that one is like, about that play is that Jasmine is like super, super ditzy.
She really is.
And what was really funny about it is she keeps forgetting Aladdin's name.
Yep. To the point where she had to write it on her hand.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's was it Jafar in the play is like a mentor to her, like basically an actual father figure. And spoiler alert, he is her father.
The horror.
They're having this conversation about Aladdin once he's imprisoned, and he's coming in to try to clear things up because she's mad at him, and she's like, "I will never forget that name. That name that is forever burned in my heart. Aladdin. Aladdin." And then when he comes as Prince Ali, and he's all dressed up and whatnot,
hey, babe.
Yeah.
She looks at him and it's like, looks at her hand because she wrote it down. Aladdin!
Oh, so good. And here again, more deceit.
More deceit.
There's nothing that you could do here except where was I going with that sentence? He had no way of knowing what the genie could do, and he could have asked, like, Genie, what will happen to you once I set you free?
Yeah.
He could have asked, and if he knew the truth that Genie could still do things, like he still could have used Genie's help.
Yeah.
But instead he chose
deceit.
To be selfish.
Yep.
But of course, as we're about to find out, all of those moments of deceit are going to bite him in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
What I really like though is, yes, all these deceits and his flaws, but we see why he's the diamond in the rough.
Yes. By the way, this is my favorite Gilbert Gottfried moment. Please, I'm blushing.
There's no
blushing. But yes, he is the diamond in the rough.
Yeah, so, and like, we saw that in the beginning of the movie, like, why he is, but then we're reminded of that after this.
Yes. Because, just like us, I mean, it is the classic Disney story. He comes from nothing, but he becomes something by the end of the story.
Right.
Because, yes, it is a love story between him and Jasmine, but if you look at the story structure, it's more of a coming of age story for him. This is really him becoming the adult that he's going to be. And I think that's why this movie is so important to the culture and why it was so successful. Mm-hmm. It shows that you're not your history, you're not your mistakes. You are the person that you're going to become.
Right.
And that's I think that's an important message for us to keep in mind as we do ministry and as we live out our faith.
Mm-hmm.
I try to remind our students of that. You are not now who you will be in 10 years. God is still working in you. God is still making you into the man that you're going to be. So while you do need to see where you are right now and work on who you are right now, God isn't finished with you. So don't see yourself now as the end result.
Right.
And again, this despairing voice that Robin Williams gives, he's such a diverse actor.
He really is.
Because he's been put in serious roles and pulled it off really well.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the more serious roles that he's been put in? Because I know he's
Good Will Hunting. That was a good movie.
That is such a good movie.
He was the teacher in Dead Poet Society.
Another good one.
And those are the only two that come to mind.
There's another one that I haven't seen yet. I think is it 1 Hour Photo, I think is the title of it?
Maybe.
Here's what's interesting about Jafar's wishes. They're so limiting.
Yep.
Like, every wish that he makes is incredibly limiting.
Yeah.
When he wishes to become Sultan, he forgets that while he could be put in the position of Sultan, he hasn't won the hearts of anybody.
Correct.
He could have a revolt on his hand immediately.
Yep.
He wishes himself to be a sorcerer. He's still not the most powerful being in the room.
Yep.
He wishes later to be a genie. Genie's got limitations as well.
Yep.
Every wish that he makes comes with a limitation, just like the first two wishes that Aladdin makes. Mm-hmm. His first wish to become a prince, well, now he's got to prove himself as a prince.
Yep.
He wishes indirectly to be saved, but he's going to die again someday.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that made any real difference was when he chose to set Genie free.
Yep. Gosh, this was such a good choice for our first movie, buddy, because
it really was.
I didn't realize how deep this was, you know?
Yeah, there's so many layers to it.
Prince Ali. Evil laugh.
Yes. What a good villain song, too. I love that they chose to do a reprise as the villain song.
Yep.
Like, this was back when Disney was a little bit more brave with what they did. They
Yeah.
they did some more daring things.
Yep.
And so, like, you know, there are times where they did like Lion King. Scar got his own song, and it was a great song. Great song, very different from the whole rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, they still do some interesting stuff, but it's basically like snippets and repeats of what they've done before.
Right.
Back in this day, they took risks.
Mm-hmm.
Good art has to come with risks.
That's true. Otherwise, it's not going to leave an impact. Like, how many movies have we seen that keep it safe, do the same thing, and is literally forgotten like the next week?
Now, I know that you're probably going to disagree with me a little bit on this, but for me, Marvel. I think that there's a good...
To a point.
Okay, what's the point?
Because there are some really good Marvel movies.
Okay.
Like Infinity War, Civil War, The Man, Spider-Man No Way Home, Captain America Winter Soldier. There are some really good ones.
There are some good ones.
But for the most part, they are pretty much mediocre.
Ooh, you know the one that took the most risk and had the biggest payoff? Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot my favorite one.
It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But that's part of the draw to it, is like it was bold, it was daring, it was different. Kind of like here, like this was a bold and daring movie to make.
To be honest, all these movies in the Disney Renaissance were.
Yes.
Because they almost went bankrupt.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. They made some movies in the 80s that didn't do so well, and they almost went bankrupt. I think. Or was it? No, I do think it was the 80s that they almost went bankrupt. I think they also almost went bankrupt in the early 50s and 60s, which is why...
The 70s weren't great for them either, because Fox and the Hound, while I love it, it's one of my favorite Disney movies, it did not perform well.
So yeah, so these movies took risk, and these movies are what made Disney where they are now.
That's true, yeah. And if you look at the Renaissance movies are the most successful movies.
Yep.
And they're the ones that built the Disney that we know today. Like, Disney World would not be the same without Aladdin. It wouldn't be the same without Lion King. This point. I don't know why that gets me every time, but when he's like trying to follow his finger and figure out what his finger is pointing at. Oh, so good. And when it comes to I don't know why, but stealth moments like this.
Your beard is so twisted. That's the name of the other thing.
It is. Roll credits. I love stealthy overthrow things.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh, Jasmine.
Ugh.
I get the sacrifice, but ugh. Oh, so good. And another line that gets used over and over. How many times do I have to kill you?
Yep.
I forget what other popular movie or show that this was used in, but
literally
like that. Yeah, I what was it you said?
I said literally any of them.
I think it happens. Oh, it happens in Kung Fu Panda 2.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, where he goes, how many times do I have to kill the same stinking panda? A lot of these lines Say again?
Jafar got puns.
He does. And like, honestly, like, that's part of the writing that I actually really enjoy. Because like he knows he's the powerful one in this situation and he's just enjoying it.
Yep.
And talking about the physical deformities and the character qualities, like this right here is the fulfillment of that.
Yep.
He doesn't just turn into a snake because like it's powerful. He is a snake. He's a in the kingdom, he's a snake in the grass. He's hiding and waiting for his moment to strike.
Yep.
And when he does, it's deadly. And of course,
Jafar, he's our man. If he can do it, great.
Another genius, Rob. I wonder, are all 16? I want all 16 of those improv hours to be available somewhere.
So, from what I've heard, it's I'm saying it as a rumor.
Okay.
But once Robin Williams has, like, it's been, I forget what he said. I think 25 years after Robin Williams has passed away, they're going to release those 16 hours.
Oh, that's still so long.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder if there's like a legal thing.
I think so, because I think it had something to do with the Robin Williams Society or something that his daughter started, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. I could be wrong.
Okay. Because like Disney, if you release that and put it like on a DVD collection, I would buy it. I would buy it right now.
I would too.
But that would be a good way to keep his legacy alive, like long after he's gone.
My thing is, I think when Aladdin turns 50 years, which that's crazy because that's in 20 more years.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do that as a special feature thing. They're going to have like all of those 6 on a special feature thing.
That would be so amazing.
That's just something I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Have been many times.
Oh, I forget how
transformational moment is.
The
artistry behind this.
You know what else was disappointing in the live action?
What?
This part was disappointing in the live action too.
Oh, really?
Yep. It wasn't a big battle. It was just, Aladdin flying through the city on his carpet with a giant Iago.
With a giant Iago?
Yes, Jafar made Iago giant, and it wasn't good. Iago wasn't Iago in that one either. He was just literally a parrot.
I think I did hear about that. I mean, you got two people who just acted themselves. I mean, Gilbert Gottfried was Gilbert Gottfried, and Robin Williams was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to... But at the same time, he could have done something.
Yeah. I will say one thing I liked that the live action did was give a little more on Jafar's backstory.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yep, Jafar was like Aladdin. Like, as we mentioned, there was parallels. Well, before Jafar became royal vizier, Jafar was also like living on the street, stealing from people to survive.
That gives an interesting contrast for how they turn out later.
It really does.
That's cool because it comes down then to choices.
Mm-hmm.
Aladdin makes his choices, and of course that's where we get to where we are now, where he has to come clean about who he is.
Yeah.
And here again, I give Jasmine too hard a time because she really is sincere here.
She really is.
And part of Genie's character. This moment of self-sacrifice. He has an opportunity to ask Aladdin for forever freedom, and he chooses to take forever imprisonment so that Aladdin can have a happy ending.
Something I've always wondered.
What?
What would have happened if after, the lamp wouldn't have teleported to the Cave of Wonders. It just would have stayed there. What's to stop Aladdin to, rubbing the lamp again and getting 3 more wishes?
I guess it would be that the same person could have made those wishes. I mean, he could give it to Jasmine, and then Jasmine could have made wishes.
But see, but I mean, I'm not saying what Aladdin chose to do wasn't the right choice, because it obviously was. But I just always thought that. What is to stop Aladdin to make the wish, hey, make me a prince again, use his last wish, and then either pick up the lamp again to wish for his freedom or give it to Jazz. But,
yeah. It wasn't the most economic move.
No, but it worked out for the best, so it's okay.
Yes, and it was definitely the most moral choice.
Yes, which is why I'm not angry with said choice, because it was the right one and the moral one.
Yes. Oh, and such a sweet moment.
Mm-hmm. You'll always be a prince to me.
It's that law. That's the problem. I just noticed something.
What?
The Sultan's darker than he used to be.
Yeah.
Jasmine's darker than she used to be.
I think they all are, honestly.
So that's okay. All right. Now I know why that title screen was there. Because they were apologizing for making the movie about a bunch of white people. Crazy lovebirds. Yo,
hey, Roadman, cow. I'm history. Technology. I'm free.
A very good story of redemption here.
It really is.
And a beautiful end to the story as well.
Yep.
Oh, get ready.
Ew, they're kissing.
So gross. And of course, what's the only appropriate way to end this movie?
Yep.
with another Robin Williams bit.
Ain't you look.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Aladdin.
That was honestly, I'm glad we like I said, I mentioned this earlier, but I'm really glad we picked this as our first movie.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that we can handle doing this.
We can.
Yeah, I definitely think it will help to add in another person.
Or two.
I mean, yeah, or two. I think we'll start with another one person. We've had a few people that we've reached out to say that they would be happy to join in.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll need to discuss when and what movie and which people, because we want to make sure that we pick the right people for the right movie.
Yeah, because it'd be awkward if we pick someone like, I don't know, a rando off the street talking about Harry Potter who knows about Harry Potter.
Yes, because we want to make sure that we pick movies that everybody has seen. That way, nobody has to pay attention to the movie and like miss out on all the talking points. They've got something to contribute to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we want to thank you for joining in. Jeb, it was good doing this with you.
It was good doing this with you, buddy. This was really fun. I'm glad we decided to do this.
Me too. Now all I got to do is edit out our beginning and end points and bleep out my one moment. And then, I think we're ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. Well, before we head out, just want to thank everyone for coming, watching the movie with us, or listening to us talk through it, and hope y'all enjoyed. And if y'all have any recommendations, I don't know how podcast works. Comment, I guess, if that's a thing. I don't know.
I think we've got an email. Our email is menwhotalkthroughmovies@gmail.com. If you have any recommendations or anything, just send an email there.
Yep. And we look forward to the next one, guys.
Yep. Also, if you enjoyed this at all, please be sure to share it with somebody. I challenge you to do this. If you listen to this, share it with one person. Just one person that you think would enjoy this.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we're going to head out. This has been the Men Talking Rambunctiously Through Movies.
Men Who Talk Through Movies.
We got to work on an ending.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.